Morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire, and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, EOS, Ethereum, and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, and the daily support and resistance levels. It is Tuesday, the 1st of September. Jumping straight in to look at Bitcoin against the US dollar and the hourly candlesticks. Bearish start to the morning here. Gonna need to see Bitcoin move through the pivot at 11,687 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 11,774. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin, however, to break back through to 11,700 levels. So barring an extended crypto rally on the day, expect the first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 11,790 to pin Bitcoin back. In the event of a breakout, a visit to 11,900 levels could be on the cards. Got the second major resistance level at 11,877, however, to pressure any upside. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 11,584 back into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid sub 11,500s and the second major support level sitting at 11,497. Looking at the MACD, a marked widening of the bearish histogram, supportive of this early morning pullback. Looking at the moving averages, we are seeing a narrowing of the 50 to the 100 and the 200, also supportive of a pullback through the day. So key through the morning would be to avoid a pullback through that first major support level and a move back through the pivot to 11,700 levels to support a bullish day ahead. Moving across to EOS against the US dollar, it's also a bearish start to the day. Gonna need to see EOS move through the early morning high 3.2196 and the pivot level at 3.2325 to support around the first major resistance level sitting at 3.2761. Going to need to see support from the broader market to break out from 3.25 levels, however. So barring an extended crypto rally on the day, the first major resistance level should cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, a move through yesterday's high 3.3s would bring the second major resistance level at 3.3437 into play. Expect plenty of resistance at 3.3, however. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 3.1649 back into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, EOS should avoid sub 3.1s. Have the second major support level sitting at 3.1213 to limit any down. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a widening of the bearish histograms, supportive of this morning's early pullback, and we're seeing the 50 EMA narrow the gap on the 100 and the 200. Possible bearish crossover with the 200 that you need to look out for through the day. So key through the morning, avoid a fallback through the first major support level and a breakout through the pivot and 3.25 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar. Also bearish, tracking the broader market this morning following yesterday's trend bucking moves. Gonna need to see Ethereum avoid a fall through the pivot sitting at 430.35 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 442.54. Gonna need to see a broad-based crypto rally, however, for Ethereum to break out from yesterday's high 439. So barring an extended rally on the day, that first major resistance level should cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, Ethereum could test resistance at 450 before any pullback, would likely fall short of the second major resistance level at 451.19, however. A pullback through the pivot at 430.35 would bring the first major support level at 421.7 into play. Barring extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should avoid sub 410s, and the second major support level is at 409.51. Looking at the MACDs, Following yesterday's bearish crossover, we're seeing a widening of the bearish histograms, supportive of the early pullback. Looking at the EMAs, however, we're seeing the 50 stand its ground against the 100 and the 200, suggestive of another bullish day ahead. So key through the morning would be to avoid a fall back through that pivot level and break out from yesterday's high to move through 440 levels. Expect plenty of resistance at 440, however. Moving across to Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, it's been a particularly bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move back through the first major support level at 0.2786 and the pivot level at 0.2813 to bring first major resistance level at 0.2846 into play. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.28 levels, however. Barring an extended crypto rally on the day, going to see that first major resistance level cap any upside. Failure to move through the first major support level and that pivot level would bring the second major support level setting at 0.2747 into play for a second time. Barring an extended sell-off through the morning, should see Ripple's XRP avoid sub 0.27 levels, however. Looking at the MACD, widening of the bearish histogram supportive of this morning's reversal, and we're seeing the 50 EMA narrow on the 200 and the 100, suggestive of a bearish day ahead. Key through the morning, a move through the first major support level and a move back through to 0.28 levels would then bring the pivot and resistance levels back into play.